Number one, thanks for coming, the interest in Michigan football. This will be our 7th practice, which is you start finding a little more out about your team. You know, anytime you get in pads is a plus. So we'll find out a little more as we go through it. It's kind of a busy weekend because our coaches clinic will probably have over 500 coaches here, sharing ideas, talking football, some tremendous guys who have been very successful at the high school level. That's good, but it'll be busy. It'll be good. We'll get a lot done from our perspective and what we need to get done. Practicing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will help us a little bit. I think the consistency we need to play with. But, I like the energy, and I like the energy of how we've come in the meeting atmosphere and out there on the field.
Are you feeling better about your defensive line than when you first put the pads on, and maybe in what specific ways?
John, I think, I feel better because I think each one of those guys are improving. Probably not at the rate that we'll ever be satisfied because the expectations. But, I think Will has really matured, which is a big part of it, and understands the expectations for how we expect him to play. I think, Jabril inside and Craig at the strong side end or the 5 technique, I think, is a plus. I think the competition between Byer and Clark, competition between Jake Ryan and Cam Gordon, I think all those things are real positive. And, you look at a guy like Richard Ash, he's getting a little better every day. Again, as coaches, you want him to get better faster and all that stuff. But him and Quentin Washington and Kenny Wilkins is doing some better things. So we're not where we need to be. Glad it's not September 1st. But I think they're really motivated to try and play the position like we'd like for them to play it.
Well, Ricky and Taylor earlier this week talked about Elliot Mueller at left guard.
Mm-hmm.
What has he done now in his 5th year that you guys have some confidence in him? And where do, and how does Chris Bryant, is he being looked at both guard positions?
Well, I think, when you look at Elliot, I think you kind of said it. I think his confidence level is better, and that's a big part of it. I think guys feeling confident and guys being in a system obviously helps, but I think that part of it, I think Chris mainly has taken the snaps at the right guard, but that doesn't mean we can't flip-flop him. But for a young guy, you'd like to keep him on the same side, the same stance. I think Joey Brzezinski is a guy who's made some real movement, and how he comes out every day, either at center or guard. So I think we've got a pretty good group of guys competing.
Are they starting to finish? You talked last week about not finishing well in practice. I mean, is that a concept they're starting to kind of improve on, or is that something that kind of takes time over the spring?
I hope it doesn't take time, but I think the consistency with how we want to play. And we've talked about finish since a year ago January, since we've been here, and finishing games, finishing the 4th quarter, finishing November, and that's always something that we talk about. But you're not going to finish the others if you don't finish a practice. So I think we're understanding that concept.
Because of the lack of depth at tackle, is that a spot where you think the freshmen are going to have to at least get in the mix in terms of pushing guys or something?
Yeah, I think all across the front. I think there'll be guys that we need to try and see where they'll fit, and see how they compete, see how they learn, see how much physically they come in ready to play. So I wouldn't count any of the positions out, but with Mike's done a good job. Schofield out there at the right tackle. We're playing him a little bit at left, to see where our best 7 or 8 guys are and where the best rotation, giving Taylor a little bit of a break now and then.
You talk.
Taylor said he's less funny man, more serious sort of leader on the field this
Mhm.
season. Have you seen that already? Just
Yeah,
in practice?
yeah, I think so. I think since we've been here, I think he's really understood that there's a demeanor that we expect in. Even though he's not a senior, he's played a number of snaps here, so he has that experience that you would expect a guy to probably be a little more assertive when things need to be assertive and serious. You believe me, you want to have fun, but the fun is winning, and preparing to win isn't always fun, and so we just got to keep that in the right perspective.
You talk about the expectation being for the position, not the player, but when you have a freshman that's trying to kind of find his place, maybe in a place where you're thin, how much of an expectation can you have for a new player like that?
I think, Jeff, I think if you don't keep your expectations high and you say, well, this kid, he's only a freshman, and I think at the same time we understand that part of it, but if we vary at all from those expectations, then we're doing a disservice to Michigan football. So though that's never going to change. We're going to have those high expectations, and how they come in this building, how they come to work, whatever it might be. And it doesn't matter if you're a freshman or not. There's been some awfully good true freshmen play at Michigan who have played pretty well. And if it is a true freshman or a redshirt freshman, they've got to meet those expectations.
How has Stephen Hopkins looked at fullback after kind of having that breakthrough towards the end of the season? And do you like Thomas Rawls there, or is there somebody else at fullback?
At fullback,
Yeah.
I think Steph's done a really good job. And I think if he can continue to grow from a maturity standpoint and continue to grow, he's probably a little overweight right now for what we'd like him. And when I say that, the weight would be okay, maybe if it was all good body weight. But I like what he's done. And, we put him as a tailback, as a big tailback once in a while in there, but at the fullback. And then I think Joey Carriage is doing a nice job. He's a guy who walked on, and I think he's done a nice job.
What size do you want him at, and what are you
I think the size will vary on body fat and all those things.
Have you had any more attrition in the past couple of weeks, or is everybody
No.
still there?
What are the advantages to having 3 straight practices over the weekend instead of spacing them out more?
Yeah, I think 2 things when you look at the consistency that we can have daily. Now, obviously, we're not going to practice tomorrow as we will today, or as we would Saturday. It will be a shortened version, no pads, helmets only, but it will be a high focus on the techniques and the fundamentals. And I think that's an important part of it. And so when you look at it from that, I think you're getting 3 days in a row of it for maybe a young guy who's the expectations we have that are high, really pounding those fundamental drills for 3 straight days.
Is there kind of a science to how you plan out the days during which this stretch?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a science. Believe me, I've never been confused with a scientist or anything like that. But I think there's no question that there's a method to the madness, if you want to call it that. And I guess it's not madness, but I mean how you want to improve guys. And I think that's one thing the staff does every day. We meet after we have situational scrimmages or whatever it might be. And, we go through the guys, who did better, why, what's he have to work on, whatever it might be. And, at the end is to make every one of these guys a better teammate and a better player.
Are you having a certain number of scrimmages throughout, or just at the end there? Are you going to have them on?
Saturdays usually,
Okay.
What have been your, personnel-wise, your most pleasant surprises this spring?
Personnel. Well, I would say, Rawls is, a tough, and you asked that. I mean, we're playing him a little bit of fullback, not a lot, but he's he's a pretty tough guy running the football. He's got to take care of the football a little better. And I think Hayes has shown some things with his abilities. I think the linebacker position is a very competitive position. Having Joe and Caleb kind of in the mix there a little bit, I think puts a little pressure on some of the older guys. I think Jared Wilson is working well right now at safety. Who asked that? You did, John, right? I would say kind of there. I really like the way Roy Roundtree has come out every day and what he's given Gallon. But and I would say the competition level, with Frank Clark and Brennan Byer. I think the competition level of Jake Ryan and Cam Gordon. Cam's a little bigger, a little stronger, a little more physical. I mean, I like all that's going on. Now, how much I like it, is, probably a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, but that's okay too.
Now that the Big Ten and the Pac-10 are having this Pac-12 or whatever it is, this alliance in scheduling games, how involved are you in saying to Dave, this is a team that I think we might match up with or whatever?
Dave and I talk about the schedule, all the time. He is a great athletic director. He's, really thinks things through really well, and our communication on all that stuff is always at a high level.
Brady, would you ever be in favor of the NCAA allowing you to scrimmage another team during the spring?
I think that would be kind of cool. I've thought of it before. Whether we do, like the NFL, different teams going to different places and interacting for 2 days, 3 days. Off of that model, I thought that would be kind of neat if you could do that.
Just a couple more.
When you've got a guy like Taylor with the personality he
Uh-huh.
has, how do you tone that down? I mean, do you talk to him, or you just? I mean, how do you make someone temper their personality a little bit?
Well, the one thing you don't want to do, Angelique, is you don't want to take that personality away from him or that energy away from him. But you do want to, communicate and educate on there's a time and a place, just like for everything in life. There's a time and a place to, react a certain way, act a certain way. There's a time and a place for it. So I guess it's just, a lot of educating and a lot of just communication and discussion.
When Greg was in here last week, he talked about Thomas Gordon needing to turn it loose a little bit more, and about Blake Countess needing to, realize what he did last year isn't good enough. How are
Right.
those two guys doing, and are there people that are obviously pushing them pretty hard?
I like how both of them really have responded. I mean, I think you look at the effort and all those things that both those guys are practicing with, playing with, either it's in the defensive mode or on the kicking game, the different things we're trying to get done. Michael, I think they're really doing a nice job. And so the one thing about both those kids, they're highly coachable. They're really, into their teammates in the game. So they want to do a good job as a teammate.
Get last one with Rachel.
Just to go back to the practice schedule for the next 3 days.
Did you guys welcome Rachel yet?
Oh.
Say hello.
Hi. I'm Rachel.
See, this
Lindsay.
is society. This
I'm
is
from-
one of the
I'm
problems.
from the Toledo Blade. No.
It's one of the problems. No one talks to anybody anymore.
We
Walk
texted
onto
her.
campus, they got iPods on the phone, they don't communicate.
We tweeted her.
You tweeted her? All right, well, whatever that is. Go ahead, Rachel.
No, just to go back to the practice schedule of the next 2 days. You said Thursday's going to be no pads. Tomorrow?
No,
is
today
Saturday?
will be pads.
Today will be no. Today will be
Today's
pads.
Thursday, right?
Okay. Yep.
Friday, we'll go no pads because we have 3 days that are helmets only.
Okay.
And then Saturday will be a pretty heavy padded practice.
What do you gain out of doing that? Is it about just conditioning? Is it about getting just the feel, like you said, for the fundamentals? Yeah, what's the purpose of that?
Well,
Doing that
part of it is because of we have a clinic every year,
Mhm.
and part of what coaches, high school coaches, like is seeing drill work and fundamental work and all those things. So that's a big part of it. The other part is I think it gives us an opportunity to go pretty heavy today, to back it off a little bit tomorrow, but at the same time, the fundamentals and techniques, trying to, reemphasize those things that we really believe in here.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Thank you.